Hey, I'm Spencer.
And I'm Britton.
Since 2011, Buckethead has released 288 albums in his Pike series, and we're going to listen to them.
3 at a time.
This is Getting Head. Bucketcast.
Oh, yeah. Welcome, bots, slogs, friends, and bucketheads. This is episode 31 of Gettin' Head, a Bucketcast.
31, we're approaching my age here, baby.
Yeah, almost there.
Almost there.
Next episode.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. One step closer to the edge.
And I'm about to break.
We're not ready to break quite yet. We've got, several hundred pikes left. Or actually, no, it's not true. We've got like 100 and change, right?
We've got about 200 pikes left, yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, I think the official count is after, 199, I think, after today, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Nice.
Well done. We're here.
We're here again. It's Getting Head, a Bucketcast.
Indeed.
I mean, I wish I was getting head right now, but, instead I'm here talking about Buckethead.
I wish you weren't, because that'd be awkward for me. Like, what would I do?
Well, I mean, what if we were both getting head during a recording of Getting Head?
That sounds very Motley Crue of us.
Oh, yeah, it does.
And then we could, stick our dick in a burrito.
Well, we could do it in the same room, right? And then we could go get breakfast burritos.
I'm more of a taco man myself.
Taco cock, yeah.
More of a breakfast chalupa guy myself.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Uncircumcised chalupa.
Aren't all chalupas uncircumcised? Aren't all burritos uncircumcised? Do you ever think about that?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they got a shell going over all those fillings,
Yeah, right.
Well, what? So what is it when you have like a wet burrito, where it's like coated in something?
Oh, that's burrito smegma.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
that tracks.
Definitely smegma.
Yeah. The true uncircumcised tacos though are the like double decker tacos from Taco Bell.
Oh yeah.
Where you've got like a soft taco and then like a layer of beans and then a hard shell taco outside of it. That
bitch has got a meaty foreskin.
Thick.
Yeah.
Britt, what's up? What do you
think
up to?
Fourth meal was about foreskin?
Fourth skin.
Fourth skin. Taco Bell's fourth skin.
That's the name of the episode.
Fourth skin, live moss.
That's pretty good. Yeah, Britt, how's it going? What have you been up to? It's been so long since we talked.
Skin, live moss. Okay. I don't know. I was hanging out.
Wanging out?
Kind of.
Rocking out? Cocking out?
Wang in years.
I don't know. Is that what you do?
No, not really. No, I just work on like podcast stuff and watch anime, take walks, smoke weed.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure you get up to more than that. I mean, you spent like 20 minutes on the phone the other day telling me all about like how much jerking off you're doing, and it was just
yeah, it
was the time.
I think more I was like selling you on the prostate thing that I'm into.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, we all know. Yeah.
Love a good prostate orgasm.
Love it. Good stuff right there.
Crazy.
Oh yeah,
it's madness.
100%. Yeah, John Madden. Madness.
John Madden. I actually share a birthday with John Madden.
Interesting. Have you ever played any of the Madden video games?
Oh, hell yes, I played the Madden video games.
What's your favorite Madden game?
Me and Beck were really into, I think, Madden 2005 2004 or 2005.
Oh, those are my two favorite Madden games because those are the last ones I played.
Yeah, we had it on Xbox, and I like went ahead and on the original Xbox, I don't know if you remember, but it had like a decent little hard drive on there, maybe like 40 gigs or something, but you could load your own music into there and then like play it during games or whatever. And the Madden games on Xbox there had a great feature where you could take the music that you had loaded on your hard drive and use it like for the game and like queue up different clips for different things. So like, for the 2-minute warning for every game, I had Iron Maiden's 2 Minutes to Midnight, just like blasted the fucking
that's
chorus,
very dope.
which it was dope.
Yeah,
I had a bunch of stuff. I had a bunch of Manowar and Maiden and shit on there. It was it's very raw Thor.
So I might have told this story before on this podcast, or maybe I've just told it to you. I don't know, but Madden 2004. I'm pretty sure it's 2004. It could be 2005, but I'm pretty sure it was 2004. I bought that game, or I convinced my mom to buy it for me, specifically because that was the first place one could hear the new Blink-182 song, Miss You, from their upcoming self-titled album that was not out yet. So they released that single on Madden 2004 before anything else. And so at that time, you know, the only way to get it out of the game would be to like record audio from it. And like, so it didn't show up on the internet for a while. It was like a month or so before it showed up on the internet. And so because I knew it was going to take a while for that song to show up, and I was a huge Blink-182 head, I guess you should say, I went and got that game and I listened to that song a bunch. There was like a spot in the settings where you could just play songs from the soundtrack, and I just listened to the song a whole bunch of times, and it was really good. It's a great song.
That's super gay, dude.
I'm pretty sure that's what you said the last time that I told you this story.
Yeah, it's like really like I've sucked cocks way less gay than that.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm about. See, that's the lifestyle that I'm about right there is about, you know, PlayStation 2 sports video games featuring
buying them for the
songs.
soundtrack, buying the Madden game for the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. I'm only in it for the soundtrack, okay?
Yeah, you know, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, whatever. I'm in it for the Goldfinger.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm always in it for the Goldfinger.
Here I am, doing everything I can, feeling like Superman.
That's almost the lyrics.
Almost. I missed a line.
Almost finger.
That was a silver finger more than anything. It
was a bronze finger at best.
Fuck you.
Is there something worse than bronze?
Yeah, I guess like a ribbon, because like bronze is like fourth place, or like almost like a participation
No, bronze
prize.
is third place, dude.
That's copper.
What? No, not in the Olympics.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, that is bronze. But I mean, initially it was copper. Copper's just too soft to really form into metal. Like
and copper's worth more. I mean, if you got a solid metal made out of copper, like you could sell that shit for a decent amount of money.
I mean, not really. I'd just like steal copper piping instead.
Like,
because copper, right now, traditionally, the copper to tin ratios in bronze are 12.5 to 15% tin, compared to like 85 to 87.5% copper. And so like it's all essentially copper. I mean, you can smelt it down pretty easy.
Nice. Good to know.
Yeah.
Love to hear that.
Yeah. I only know about those copper ratios because I've been watching a lot of videos on the Bronze Age collapse, and exactly how bronze used to be smelted and kind of how it shaped society back about 3,000 years ago or so.
Tight. It's really fallen from grace, to be honest. Like now bronze is considered like not impressive. I mean, well, it's like, you know, it's like, I
mean, it's a great metal. You can use it for so many things. Like it's,
oh, totally.
It's like, I mean, it's very soft, but it's a lot more resilient than copper, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. You know, so bronze, like for years, that was like before steel, that was the metal, you know, that's what you used for all of your armor, for your swords. You know, the only thing is like bronze isn't really conductive enough to be used heavily in modern application because everything is fucking electronic now.
This is true.
Yeah.
Copper's king, baby.
Copper's great. Gold is even better.
Gold is so good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I mean when I say it's fallen from grace, it's just that, the public perception of a bronze, of a copper, not as high as some of the other metals, the fancier metals,
True. I mean, it's no platinum.
The thrash metal. It's no it's no power thrash, okay? That's true. No death metal.
I mean, it's
okay.
Let's be honest. It's no top of the mountain like power violence.
Yeah.
It's definitely the best of the genres.
So some gigantic nerds on the internet would contend that power violence is not metal at all, to which I say, shut up.
Yeah.
And go outside.
Yeah. God. Nothing matters less than that argument. Nothing.
Yeah, totally. Oh man, Metal Archives
nothing.
Really is like, oh my good God, it's really something. For those who are unaware, metal-archives.com is a site that since the early 2000s or like maybe 90s even has been cataloging every band and release in the broad genre of heavy metal, or what they consider to be heavy metal. The site is pretty cool. It's pretty fun in some ways, but it's also stupid in some really, 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 really big ways. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've gone into that at some point before. But it's funny because there's like these giant ongoing arguments as to what bands are metal and what bands are not. Like there are some bands that they don't consider metal, that is
like who?
Just insane.
Who's not metal?
Dillinger Escape Plan, Converge, any new metal band. No new metal band is on there.
What?
Which is insane, right? Like Korn is not on there.
Even like fucking Mudvayne put out like a full extreme metal album. Like
I am not sure if Mudvayne is on there. I kind of actually want to look.
LD50 is like, I mean, very death metal related. I mean, it's not death metal. Oh yeah,
100%.
1 sec, I'm gonna pee while you look that up.
Mudvayne is not on Metal Archives.
What the fuck?
So Mudvayne is not on Metal Archives. Slipknot is not on Metal Archives.
Slipknot is definitely metal.
Slipknot is a fucking metal band. Like
Slipknot is one of the biggest metal bands in the world.
I know. You know who else is not on Metal Archives?
Who's that?
Tool.
Well, yeah, they're fucking dog shit. So.
But like, come on, right? Like, Tool is a metal band. Like,
yeah, I mean, not a good one, but they're
a fucking metal band.
Yeah.
It's like the irony is like they have shit like ISIS, which I love. ISIS is a great band. They have ISIS on there. They don't have Tool on there. And literally, the only difference between those two bands is that one is primarily singing and the other is primarily screaming. It's the only fucking difference.
Yeah, they're
like the same music.
Yeah, do they have
basically.
Deftones on there?
Deftones is not on there, no.
What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
No. I know, it's insane.
Christ.
It's insane. Like, dude, it's so ridiculous. Or like, you remember the band Power Glove?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
They are not on Metal Archives.
They play instrumental metal. Like, there's no arguing that. It's like,
do you want to know their justification for that? Their justification is that they are a quote-unquote cover band. Because technically speaking, they did not write a lot of the songs that they play.
True.
But they did write the arrangements of the songs that they play.
Right.
Which I think absolutely justifies them not being a fucking cover band. Like, they're the unique arrangements, unique metal arrangements of that music. Like, what?
Right. Like so no covers are allowed on there? Is fucking 6 Feet Under's bullshit AC/DC album on there?
So that is on there. It's just their justification is that a band that plays music... I see. Like, I don't even understand their justification for like whether or not you wrote the music or not, because like it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Question: is Death for All on there?
Or
Death
I do not
to
think
All?
so. But they didn't release any music, did they?
No, they didn't. That's a good point.
Or did they release a live album?
I don't think they did.
Let me actually look. That's a great question. I thought they might have released a live album, so no, they're not on there. They are mentioned on the Death page, but they don't have their own page. But yeah, anyways, Metal Archive, an interesting site, an important site, I think, but
Yeah.
it's run by a bunch of dorks that have no sense at all. They're dumb. New metal is metal.
New metal's very metal.
New metal is like, and that's one thing that like, even when I didn't like new metal, and there was a period of my life where I didn't like new metal, and I made fun of it a lot, and it wasn't something I was into. But even during that time, I never said new metal is not metal. Like, it's metal. It's just, It was a genre of metal I didn't like.
Right.
Like, I don't understand the being like, oh, new metal is not metal. Like, what?
Right.
Shut up.
Also,
like,
even though new metal might not be extremely influential to today's metal, in that a lot of the decisions that they made in new metal aren't really done anymore, I think it's incredibly influential in that people choose not to do what they did in new metal.
yeah. And like, I agree with that. And the other thing that's interesting to me about new metal is, in a lot of ways, it was like the last big, like, societal movement behind a unique genre of music.
Last American movement.
Sure, I guess I can't speak to the rest of the world.
Because since then, I'd say we definitely had a pretty big wave of like British like post-punk flavored stuff in the late 2000s, after mid to late 2000s, and then after that, we got mostly like reggaeton, which is, Latin, and then J-pop and K-pop.
Sure, but it's not quite the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, new metal was a unique genre of music that showed up kind of out of nowhere. I mean, you can trace its history, its lineage back, but it showed up kind of out of nowhere in the late 90s and then took over everything.
Yeah.
Like, it was the biggest that metal has ever been.
Yeah, in the same way that like
reggaeton
took over all of music about like 6-7 years ago, and like K-pop has taken over like all music now.
Well, not American Top 40, but who knows? Maybe it will eventually.
It's taken over a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, those are the albums that are actually selling in the world.
That's true.
Like, the only albums that still actually go like platinum are reggaeton and K-pop, and that's it.
Can't say I've listened to any of either of those.
They're interesting. I mean, they're one of the. I don't really listen to either of them. I just recognize their incredible cultural impact right now.
Sure. I know that there's the Asian market that I go to a lot by my house sells BTS shirts behind the counter.
I bet they do, and probably Blackpink as well, right?
I've never seen that. No
Big Bang shirts.
No, not that I've seen.
You should check out some Big Bang. They're pretty cool.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm always down to check stuff out. I like to know about what's going on to a certain extent. I will say through my work, I have listened to a lot of popular music that I would not have listened to otherwise. And I can say, after doing that for the past 4.5 years, I like absolutely none of it. So there's that.
I actually take that back. I feel like trap is the most relevant modern American music right now.
Well, yeah,
and
totally,
that's incredibly 100%. Relevant. Like, and although one might argue, it's hip hop, it's,
I feel like it's getting stale though. I think it's going to go away. It's get replaced by something
else. No, it's been stale for years.
I feel like trap's been around for a while now. Like, it's been around since probably like
about a decade, maybe a little longer.
About a decade. It's been in the mainstream, and like, I feel like it's just primed to be replaced by something else, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I'm not hip enough to know. Who knows? Maybe it'll be the hyperpop stuff, like 100 Gex. That could be interesting.
Cool.
Have we talked about 100 Gex?
We don't need to talk about 100 Gex.
Interesting. Okay.
If you could take a cryptocurrency and make it into a band, That's exactly what 100 gex sounds like.
Damn. Yeah.
Yep.
Kinda.
Mm-hmm. Like they're not untalented producers. I just don't see the difference between like them and 303.
I've never listened to that band, but 100 gex has a pretty unique sound.
They do, but so did 303 back when they hit.
Yeah, I've never heard that band.
Yeah.
Oh, I always confuse that band with the OCs.
No,
those are different bands, right?
Right. Or I mean, even like, like Suicide Boys a few years ago, like started something that sounded just kind of completely different, and now like that's a big part of trap music.
Suicide Boys just sounds like ICP.
I mean, Suicide Boys is like, I don't know. It's. I mean, pretty much everything's Scrum, whatever that guy's name is. Everything he does is based on a 3-6 Mafia bass sample. Like he's, and it's not bad. Like his production's actually really good.
They're one of those artists that I don't know, man. I don't understand it. It's just not for me, and it's okay. I don't think it's bad. It's just I listened to 2 Suicide Boys albums the other day, actually, just because I was like, I should check this out. You had mentioned them to me, and I was like, okay, I should listen to this. And I listened to it, and there were some moments here and there where I was like, oh, that's a cool beat, or like, oh, that's interesting. But the majority of it I was listening to, I was like, oh, this just sounds like ICP, but not fun. Like, I don't know, like the basic, like, the rapping is very straightforward. Like, it's very simple, and that's fine. It's, that's their style. But it's also, like, kind of slow. It's also like ICP. It's just, like, kind of slow, kind of basic rapping. Yeah. I don't know. And, like, it just reminded me of that. But it also has, like, a dark vibe to it, right?
Yeah,
so, like, again, reminded me of ICP. So I was just like, it just sounds a lot like ICP. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. They're kind of a non-humorous version of that. But also, their production, being that it's just one guy who does the production, I think is, in a way, more impressive. Because,
cool.
It's not a band of, at any time, like 4 to 6 people making this stuff. It's 2 dudes. Which I think is cool.
Yeah. I like that. I like a duo. I like a team up.
Yeah.
So Britt,
what's up?
I got my first COVID vaccine shot yesterday.
Cool.
Pfizer, Team Pfizer.
Sick.
It's my team right there. I got that, and holy shit, my arm hurts so bad still.
Cool.
Like, I was not expecting that, and like, it was weird because like it took a long time for my arm to start hurting. Like, it started hurting like kind of right after the shot, but it was like just a little bit sore, like it would be for a normal shot. But then by the time I went to bed at 1 a.m. last night, it was just like, I can't even touch my arm. It hurts so bad. Like,
cool.
It's gnarly. And I woke up this morning, like, couldn't really move it around. It's a pain. It's getting better, but it still hurts. Anyways, while I was laid up yesterday, I decided to watch half of The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring Extended Edition.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you watch it off my server? Or?
No, I was watching it. It's on HBO. The extended editions are on the HBO app, which it's HBO Max now, right? It's not HBO Go anymore?
Correct.
Okay. That's still confusing to me. Like, why couldn't they, like, okay, that, I don't understand that. They made me, like, download a different app. Like, they couldn't just, like, update the app that they had and change the name. But then for a while, they were, like, different services, and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
HBO has had 3 different streaming services.
Right.
They've had HBO Go, HBO Now, and then they combined the 2 of them into HBO Max. Now, the difference between the 2 of them were HBO Go was a streaming service if you actually subscribe to the HBO cable channel. You could then watch extended streaming services from that online. HBO Now was a standalone streaming service. So you didn't actually have to subscribe to the cable channel. And although it cost a little bit more, like, they had a much bigger library. And so they pretty much made that one HBO Max, and now it covers both.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's HBO Max is good. I think their approach to that, terrible. Like, so bad. Like, there's very few ways they could have done that worse.
Correct. They really fucked the dog.
But now they're in a pretty good spot. I gotta say, like, of all the streaming services, I think that one has the most like content I would be interested in watching. Just because like it has all of the Adult Swim stuff from like the 2000s, which is super rad. Like has all that stuff. It's got a bunch of like movies from the 2000s and 90s, and like I don't really care about watching new movies, so I'm really only interested in watching shit that's nostalgic for me. So you know, it's pretty great in that respect. That said, watched half of Fellowship of the Ring the other day. It's pretty cool. Couple of takeaways. Firstly, during the opening sequence at Bilbo's going away party, Gandalf is very obviously high as fuck.
Yeah, he's sitting there fucking smoking a fucking pipe.
Yeah, they're smoking pipe weed.
Yeah,
and they talk about smoking
pipe
weed.
Yeah.
And then Gandalf smoking pipe weed and being like, oh, my boy. And it's pretty good. There's a scene of him like dancing, and you're just like, oh man, he's so high.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I love seeing a high Gandalf. It's pretty good.
Old men who are really high out of their minds is a fucking treat.
It is. It's nice. It's something you love to see. It got me thinking though, like Gandalf has a lot of powers. He can do a lot of things he can manipulate the natural world with his magic. You know what I mean? And that got me thinking, like, you think he did some magic stuff to his cock?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I do. I definitely do. I mean, I think that staff he carries is just his disembodied penis that he can reattach at any time.
It's an oddly shaped penis, my friend.
Doesn't matter. Gets the job done, baby.
Yeah, that's true. From like 6 feet away, too.
Hell yeah.
But like, oh man, he's got to have so many cool like dick powers. So cool.
What kind of ropes do you think he blasts?
Oh, dude, like I bet that they come out in like designs. Like, you remember in Lord of the Rings when he has those fireworks that like shoot off and they like turn into like dragons and stuff? I bet when he comes, it's the same way. It's like it shoots out and like turns into a snake and like slithers through the air for a second before like splatting on somebody's, tramp stamp or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Brett, can you hit me with a bucket fact?
I certainly can.
Bucket fact, 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 bucket fact.
All right, and this one took a little bit of searching. So, going through the internet, researching Buckethead, I found a couple of citations that attributed him to playing mandolin on recordings.
Okay.
Now, I have personally never heard nor seen, to my knowledge at least, any Buckethead songs with mandolin on them. I don't know if you have.
I mean, I can't say for sure.
Right. Nothing that's so glaring to where you're like, oh, that's definitely a mandolin. That definitely sounds like mandolin strings, anything like that. Because, mandolin, as far as like string instruments go, does have a fairly unique sound. Like, you could probably like do something like that on the upper register of a 12-string guitar, but not many instruments, have that exact sound.
Yeah, because you get that like natural chorusy sounding effect.
Right. Yeah.
Chords sound pretty unique when they're played on a mandolin and everything.
Indeed.
Yeah, they're neat little things, for sure.
So, although he's not credited on any specific recording playing mandolin, according to AllMusic and a couple other sites, there was one claim I found on the internet that he'd played mandolin on one of the newer pikes.
Oh.
Pike 63, Glacier. So on that pike, on track 2, sure enough, we've got Buckethead playing mandolin near the end of the song. It's pretty much unmistakably mandolin.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's still not credited anywhere with actually playing the mandolin on anything he's ever done.
Interesting. That is weird.
So if you know of any other Buckethead mandolin songs, please reach out to us and tell us, because I searched high and low, and that was the one instance I could find.
Mandolin head.
Hell yeah.
Bucket fact.
So we listened to 3 more pikes this week.
Yeah, we did.
Pikes 91, 92, 93, Sublunar, the Splatterhorn, and Coaster Coat, respectively.
Some great titles.
Yeah.
For these, like great titles. Pike 91, Sublunar. When did that come out?
December 9th, 2014. So this would have been about 6 weeks after Pike 89, Time Traveler's Wife. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, about 6 weeks after Pike 90, Listen for the Whisper.
Nice. Hell yeah. This Pike rocks.
Yeah, this Pike was really pretty cool.
Really cool. Like, very cool. I liked it very much.
So I wrote... one of my main notes that I highlighted here was from track 2. I wrote, and I think this is the best way I think I could sum up the album, is I think Buckethead finally accidentally wrote an entire Primus album.
Huh. I can see that. There's definitely some very Primus-y riffs here. But like the riffs on this one are way tighter than what you would hear on a Primus. Like he's doing like double thumbing stuff on guitar.
Yeah.
Like, which is sick, and it sounds cool. This is actually what I would consider Buckethead's first gent album as well.
Okay.
In a way. But it's like, it's cool. Like there's some really tight grooves on this. The drumming is great.
Drumming is very good. Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's programming or played. I'm going to assume programming, but hey, phenomenal programming. If it is like really good. Really helps sell the grooves. Like there's just some really tasty grooves on this.
And it's
really nice.
It should be noted, like it's definitely somewhere between like funk, prog, and metal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's not a lot of distortion or gain used on this album unless it's like as an effect.
Which is a really cool sound. Like the guitar sound on this album is awesome. Like it sounds super cool. It sounds like he's playing through like a oh damn it. I forget what that kind of a thing is called. It's like a Klon Centaur type pedal where it's like a classic overdrive sound.
Okay.
But it's like very clean and just very compressed.
Yeah. To me, it sounded like just natural tube distortion from an older tube amp, like an older combo amp or something.
Sure, I could see that. Yeah.
Because it was like, it wasn't overpowering at any point. At the same time, like the gain was like well saturated, and it sounded like kind of a natural guitar. I think this one was actually probably recorded off an amp and not straight in, although it could be wrong.
Those amp sims these days are so good. It's really hard to tell.
But this was back in 2014 when they were not quite as good.
That's a good point. So, I don't know. Who knows? Well, maybe we'll find out one day. Either way, though, like you said, it's a mix of prog, funk, and metal. It's very like groovy, and a lot of the riffs are, like I said before, they're like slapping on guitar or like double thumbing and stuff like that, like very Victor Wooten inspired type stuff, which sounds cool. Like there's some really interesting guitar parts on this in a way that I'm like, wow, I've never heard him play things quite like this before.
Right. Yeah, he does a few tricks here that I don't think he's really done on any of the previous Pikes.
Yeah.
Which is
like some of those grooves.
Fun.
Yeah, some of those riffs groove in a way that I'm like, oh wow, it feels like something a little different for sure.
Also, the guitar solos, I don't know if it was because they had so little gain on them, but it sounded a lot more like the guitar solos were kind of more stream of consciousness recorded in one take and then not really worried about. Because, I mean, there are some minor mistakes that he just plays straight through on.
Yeah, totally. And like when listening to it, I was like, is this a mistake or is this intentional? You know, when I was listening to it, because like you hear it and there's sometimes where like, you're like, oh, that sounds just like kind of like not a very clean take of that lead part. But then he just powers through it and like it ends up being fine. And you're like, well, I guess maybe it didn't matter. I don't know. Yeah. But I definitely noticed that too. Yeah.
Oh.
Despite that, you know, and like, despite that, I still feel like it's an incredibly solid Pike. Like I would say this one, like he could have released this as like an album and without the context of the Pikes, like I feel like people would care about it.
Yeah.
And
so I feel like, I mean, obviously, especially for, someone like him, half an hour is a little short for a full-length album.
Mm-hmm.
I very much thought this and the next album could have been just packaged together, and they would have made a great full-length album.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that. Next one's a little different, though. So, I don't know. Be like a side A, side B kind of a situation.
A little different. Not entirely, though. Like, it's still, to me, got the same feel. Sublunar, though, to wrap that up, I think would be a great soundtrack to, those places that have, like, trampolines.
Sure. Trampolines are good. We've said that before about a different Pike, and I don't remember which one, but I would agree with that. I would say, like, trampolines really good. Also, just a burger restaurant. Really good.
Yeah. Okay, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a burger vibe.
Bucket burger.
Yeah.
Pike 92, The Splatterhorn, released on November 15th, 2014, which would be, about 3 weeks and change before Pike 91, Sublunar.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense, knowing that it was released beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
And to me, so as I said before, like, this to me sounds a lot like Sublunar. He uses a lot of the same tones and kind of just general ideas of what he's doing with music here, although it does feel a little less refined. And
yeah,
so
it feels
in that
like
way,
it's a little bit slower. Like the drum programming is not as intense.
True.
Like the guitar tone is not quite the same, but it's similar.
Mm-hmm.
I liked this one. I did, and there's some really interesting parts on it. There's a riff like late in the album, like it's around like 2/3 of the way through it. I was listening to it while I was walking, so I couldn't check and see what song I was listening to.
Probably Horn 7, because that's the song that really stood out to me. Which is
it's got this like really interesting like dissonant riff that sounds like kind of like alternative rock in like a weird way.
So
it's
what I wrote
a super cool riff.
What I wrote for that was a Horn 7 specifically is a weird funk jam with some dissonant clean parts and a chorus guitar over it. And it's just different. I haven't heard Bucket play anything quite like it yet, and I liked it a lot. And so
I like that. So that song like super stood out to me. Like I really liked it.
Let me tell you here how I thought these albums could have worked best. Horns 1 through 6 at the very beginning, then all of Sublunar, and then Horns 7 through 9.
Oh, I could see that because then it would like build up a little bit and then get really intense for a while and then kind of like go into weirdness for the end. And then there's that really like beautiful like stuff towards the end there.
Yeah. And it should also be mentioned, Pike 92, the Splatterhorn, the name is a reference to the Disneyland ride, the Matterhorn, which is a reference to the mountain of the same name in the Swiss Alps, I believe. Nice.
So this is Bucket's take on that roller coaster.
Right, and so I think out of respect for Buckethead, this would just go on a roller coaster named the Splatterhorn.
Sure.
Which is, I hope, what he calls his penis.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Bucket horn.
Pike 93.
Oh, we're just cranking through these.
Fucking A, dude. We're gonna. Well, this is the fastest we're ever gonna. This is a speed run. Pike 93 Coaster Coat, released on November 20th, 2014, which would have been 5 days after the Splatterhorn, and 20 days before Sublunar.
Nice.
It should be noted that this is one of the two Pikes that on its cover says Buckethead Land in Japanese katakana.
Yes. Yeah. Which is pretty cool. And this one, actually, the album art for this is fantastic.
It is.
I think this is maybe the best album art we've seen so far for the Pikes.
Right, and so it's just Buckethead standing like above a city. He's very like Kaju style, like big monster type Buckethead, and he is wearing a coat that is a roller coaster, basically.
Yeah, and he's got his arms up in like a robot kind of pose. Mm-hmm. It's very cool. It's drawn well and it looks cool. It's rad, and like that plus like Buckethead land in Japanese. It's very like. There's a very consistent visual identity to this one, which is fun and nice. It's nice to see because some of the Pike album art, I actually really like all of the Pike album art. I think it's all very weird and fun, but some of it's very just like, all right, what?
Very true. Some of it is just question marks.
Yes,
makes me like Matthew Lesko. Makes me wear a question mark suit.
Oh, I love Matthew Lesko. Thank you for bringing him up. Free money to change your life.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so intense.
Dude, that question mark suit, fuck. It's so amazing. Like,
dude, he fucks
when I was
so
a kid, I would see his infomercials all the time, and I would get so excited by seeing a man jump around on screen wearing a bright, like, yellow suit with green question marks all over it. Mm-hmm. Like,
oh, and his energy, like, free money! Like, it's so good. So good.
And like he was just hawking a book. Mm-hmm. Like that was his whole deal. He just wrote a book that's like, here's how to apply for government programs. Didn't somebody we know have his book? I remember looking through it at one point with you, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like that's right.
Was it Scott? I feel like it might have been Scott that had his book.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, you know that guy fucks. Like,
oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, man. Do you think he's got a question mark shaped cock?
It's a good question. I imagine he has like custom condoms with a big question mark on them. And I mean a big question mark on them.
Yeah.
I think his dick's actually more of an exclamation point.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, probably. Yeah, bent banana, you know.
Yeah.
One of my favorite memes I've ever seen is it's a picture of Matthew Lesko wearing his question mark suit. And it just says, it's a screenshot from Twitter, and it just says, "This is Q."
That's about right.
Amazing.
Coaster Coat.
Yeah. Coaster Coat's pretty cool.
Pretty cool album. Very diverse. There's only three songs on here, but each song is a very distinctly different genre, which is cool. And so what we really get here is just 3 songs. First song, Coaster Coat, more back to, Buckethead's kind of common form of just mid-paced alt metal with soaring leads and solos. Mm-hmm. It's cool. It is. Track 2, my favorite track on the album by far, and probably one of my favorite tracks in all 3 of the Pikes we listened to this week. Track 2, Flying Cat, very like 70s prog. Mm-hmm. Reminded me a lot of Pike 70, Snow Slug, the one that kind of sounded like a Rush album.
Yeah.
Yeah. No solos, just riffing. Pretty cool. And then Coastline, just mellow, clean electric guitar.
Yeah.
Lots of synths.
Yeah, lots of synth pads. That song in particular, Coastline, was, and I don't see this too often, but every now and again I see songs from individual Pikes get reposted onto YouTube. Mm-hmm. That was a song in particular that was reposted onto YouTube on its own, just as a song, and it had a lot of listens and a lot of comments. So that was interesting to see.
Interesting.
So that's a pretty popular song from the Pikes, which surprised me because when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. This is fine," but it didn't strike me as something super unique, in the context of the greater whole of the Pikes. But apparently, it's got an audience.
Interesting, yeah, because there's several Pikes that are not that well rated, where every song kind of sounds like Coastline. Yeah. So
it's interesting to see, like, with an artist like this that has this much music, like what stuff hits and what stuff doesn't, because it's not usually what I would think. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes it is, but not always, and that's super neat.
Right, because like I don't know, like Jeopardy backwards, probably maybe my favorite Pike so far.
Definitely my favorite Pike.
So fucking good.
Yeah.
And it's like it's one of the most unique Pikes, and even more so, it's just incredibly unique music. No one makes music like that.
Yeah.
And so you figure, just based on like the uniqueness alone, like more people would be gravitated towards that, because you can go to lots of other artists for just, cool riffing and solos and whatever else Buckethead does. But like Buckethead does that one thing very specifically, very well, and he's like the only person who does it.
Yeah. Like, and yeah. What's interesting is that is the Pike with the most negative reaction that I've seen of any of the Pikes.
Don't understand.
Which is crazy, because like that one is so unique. I mean, it is in a way almost like anti-music, but I think that's fascinating. Like it's really something.
Right.
A tremendous achievement, truly, I think. Like that record's really cool.
Like all of Primus is anti-music, and people still listen to them.
Yeah. Or as we decided earlier, almost music.
Yes, now that's what I call almost music, volume Primus.
Now Sublunar is what I call almost Primus.
That's true. Almost Primus. I mean, it's like if you made Les Claypool play the guitar and Larry LaRon had to play bass, like that's pretty much what would happen, I think.
Yeah, I feel like, man, if Primus made music like Sublunar, I would be way more interested in listening to Primus.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably would too. Yeah. Like if they made more guitar-centric stuff that wasn't just like fucking... I mean, because the one thing about all of Primus's songs that you got to realize is, like, they're all based on fucking Les Claypool doing a thing on the bass, and then the song is made around that. And so, like...
Oh, yeah.
It's fine. It just gets fucking boring hearing, like, the same cool bass riff for, like, 6 minutes in a row.
My Name is Mud is the perfect example of it. Like that song without that bass line, there isn't a song there. Like that bass line is the song. Like
that's true. Like, I mean, the drums are super sparse. The guitar only comes in the chorus. The lyrics are, I mean, follow the bass basically. Like, my name is Mud. Not my name is Mud. Yeah, that song is dumb.
It's the whole song is the bass line. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's fun. That's a fun thing that, like, I haven't seen that sort of shit happen in popular music in a long time. Like, pop music has really become codified. And this isn't necessarily a negative thing about pop music. I just think that it's interesting. It's like it's really become codified, like, as a very particular style, And, like, nowadays, like, all pop music that is made kind of falls into, like, a very similar set of stuff. Like, there's always stuff that you're going to hear in that. And a song like My Name is Mud could never, ever hack it in pop music today.
Well, I mean, like, and Les Claypool very much knew that and made that part of his image in that, I think in 1999, Primus released an album called Anti-Pop with the lead single of it being the song Anti-Pop with the lyrics like, I am the anti-pop, I'll run against the grain till the day I drop. I am the anti-pop, the one you can't stop. I am so disappointed in myself that I know those fucking lyrics off the top of my head.
Yeah, I love that you didn't have to look it up.
I'm just good. Like opening the drawer and staring at the gun like the fucking end of the shield. Like, so yeah, those were the Pikes this week.
My favorite Pike is Sublunar. Listen to that one.
Mine was probably, I'm going to say it's a tie between Sublunar and Splatterhorn. I really loved the second half of Splatterhorn.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think like those two albums together make a fine listening experience. I'd listen to them together. I'd recommend listening to 92 and then 91.
Go ahead, yeah. I actually ended up inadvertently listening to Pike 91, Sublunar, 1 1/2 times because it's like I don't know how I did this. I accidentally restarted it at one point and then listened to like the first half twice. But you know what? I ain't even mad about it. I enjoyed it. So
that's fair.
Cool.
Yeah. Spencer.
Yeah.
Choose your own adventure. A wise wizard appears in your path.
Uh-huh.
There is a fork in the road. One fork leads to bucket jokes. The other leads to a void. Which path do you choose?
Oh, I really need to explore that void today.
Statements from the bucket boy.
Hell yeah. We're here again.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to travel with me, Britt?
Always ready.
Into the internet, into the great unknown, where people talk, people say things, people make statements into the bucket void.
You know, the Death Grips fans get noited. I'm about ready to get voided.
Avoid the void. Avoid the noid? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Get things off on a light start here. UltimateGuitar.com user Blue1 4 years ago said, "There's such a thing as being too prolific. Even if they were all good, who the hell would want to and or have the time to listen to 247 albums by the same guy?"
Answer.
Us.
Yep.
It's us, baby.
Yep.
Who the hell? Yeah, it's us. It's us. We're here. We're doing it. Yep.
Yep.
Cool. Pretty good. Always nice to see. Okay, so we're gonna go back to Reddit now for a minute, and so I was browsing some Reddit here. We have a post here where somebody made a spreadsheet of their of like all the pikes. Now this was a while ago. This was 3.1 years ago, according to Reddit.
Damn.
And they made a spreadsheet of all the pikes at that time and kind of ranked them, which is actually pretty impressive. It's impressive work.
Very.
And they made a kind of a lengthy post about it, but Reddit user Tiguaspa, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Within their lengthy post, I'm going to read one excerpt of it, where he says, "I will soon put a..." sorry, hold on one second. "I will soon put a... fuck, this is hard to read. I will soon put a summary by styles, YouTube playlist of each, and a special sex playlist because goddamn, some of those pikes are the best thing to have sex with."
To have sex with, yes.
Yeah. No, specifically, they state to have sex with.
Yeah, so you know this guy just like fucking...
Just baits.
So what he does is he has a pure white fleshlight, right? And then he's got like a movie projector. And so he'll put on the pike and then project the album cover onto his pure white fleshlight and then actually have sex with the pike.
Sure. Yeah. I imagine he's just baiting while the pike is on, you know? Like he just mutes the porn.
Or maybe a VR headset. And he can just see the cover and he's just staring at the cover on YouTube.
Yeah. Straight baiting. I like the idea of Buckethead as sex music. We've brought this up a few times before, but I want to get your pulse on this one. Like, what pikes do you think would make acceptable sex music?
None of them. That's my full list.
Okay. All right. I mean, I also agree, but let's say hypothetically someone had a gun to your head and they were like, make a fucking sex playlist out of the pikes. What are you going to choose?
I'd be like, sweet death embrace me.
I mean, like some of this, like, I don't know, roller coaster track repair, I guess. You could kind of bust one into that, maybe.
No, it's too like staccato and like stop and go. Like
maybe one of the chuggier new metal-y kind of ones.
Could maybe, be okay. Yeah, I guess I could agree with that. Like, I think the best stuff for a sex playlist that Buckethead makes, though, is probably going to be like the post-rockier type stuff. The stuff that's not fucking weird. Because, like, having sex to weird music kind of dumb as, like, do you think people, like, fuck to Primus?
It would be incredible if they did. Or the sort of, like, Juggalos fuck to Primus, right?
Or Ween? Like, can you imagine someone's like, let me put on the sex playlist and it's all fucking chocolate and cheese? Like...
Oh man, I've definitely gotten messages from people on Instagram who have said that they fucked a ween. So like that is a thing for sure.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the way I think about how like some people hate cilantro. I'm like, I hate that exists.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's definitely one of those same things.
Yeah, but like cilantro's tasty. Like fucking to ween is like objectively horrifying. Like... That's some fucking like NyQuil nightmare shit right there. Like,
oh man, I bet people have fucked at Ween concerts on drugs.
Oh God, do you think anyone's actually been conceived at a Ween concert? And like,
I know some people who I could suspect of being.
And what government services do they now require?
All of them.
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I guess I see what you're saying. Like, I don't know. I don't like really like ambient music during boning down. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's better than weird music for sure.
Right, exactly. It's better than stuff with like weird times. It's better than like trying to listen to prog music while you're fucking, you know?
Oh my God. Can you imagine the pretentiousness?
God, can you imagine getting a blowjob to a Dream Theater song? Can you imagine trying to bust while Dream Theater's on?
I would just keep thinking about how Dream Theater is dumb. Like, I would just I would get mad. I'd be like, God, that riff's kind of cool. Oh God, this vocal part is horrible. Like, what? And then I'd be like, why are these keyboards here? Like, how long is this song? Like,
yeah. I watched one of their official videos from a couple years ago when like lockdown wasn't happening. And their official video was one of those fucking things where like everyone records at their house and then they send in a video and it's just like, you know, the 5 windows from the 5 guys in the band, you know, and I'm like, that's not an official video. Like, you're all just playing in your home studios. Why would you release that as an official video?
Because they don't care anymore.
I guess not. No. They suck. Dude, they suck so bad. Like, I don't understand why James LeRae or whatever his name is.
LeBrie.
Yeah, LeBrie. Yeah, why him as a vocalist? Like, he's fine and he's on key, but he's got like a 3-octave range, maybe. Like, his range is fucking dog shit for a metal vocalist.
But that band, like what even is that band though? It's like they got like chuggy metal riffs here and there, but like I don't know.
No.
They're a band. So they're a band that's on Metal Archives that I could see an argument for being like they shouldn't be on Metal Archives. Like I could entertain that. I'm not necessarily saying that they shouldn't be on Metal Archives, but like you could come up with an argument that I'd be like, sure.
Yeah.
We should become mods at Metal Archives somehow.
Should we? I feel like that would be way more trouble than it's worth. And
yeah,
just be like
definitely a lot of trouble.
Taking down a whole bunch of fucking like troll reviews, like shit like that.
Yeah. And people standing like racist black metal dudes and all that sort of shit. I bet it's like really dumb.
Right. No, metalheads like a lot of metalheads are great, but like there's a lot of metalheads that are fucking dog shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That it's such a weird subculture because like you said, like so much of the subculture is awesome. Like there's so many like interesting, cool people that I've met through extreme music, but also like I have met some turds that need to be flushed.
Yes, that's true.
1000%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hate to see it. Well, speaking of shitty metalheads, Reddit user Bayer Frund says 3 years ago, or 2.1 years ago, that's precisely why I love B. To me, about 99% of lyrics are cringy as fuck, and I just want to hear music. User ZinserF responds. 0 upvotes for this response here. Absolutely. I've always maintained that Led Zeppelin's biggest downfall, IMO, was Robert Plant. Could someone please tell me what that idiot was blabbering about in 90% of their songs? Question mark, question mark. Witches and trolls and wizards? WTF are you talking about, you nitwit? LOL?
I mean, he was talking about Lord of the Rings mostly, which is actually pretty cool. And, you know, maybe Jimmy Page, like, being a child rapist was the bigger downfall of that band. Just saying.
I haven't heard anything about that, but that sounds bad.
Oh gosh, Jimmy Page.
We don't need to get into it.
Yeah, he was one of the ones who like did the weird like adoption thing, like Steven Tyler did, and like got some parents to like basically like give him like a 14-year-old to take on tour.
Well, that's so gross.
It's pretty gross.
Hate to hear it. Also, on the record, I'm not a huge fan of Led Zeppelin, but I don't agree with anything that Reddit commenter said.
Yeah, I mean, Led Zeppelin's fine. Fucking John Paul Jones is a monster. And that dude, like, made that band what it was. Like, you know... Like imagine
that's the drummer?
That's the bassist, keyboard player, clarinet player, flutist or recorder player. He played a bunch of different shit. Played some other like 12-string guitars and stuff too. It was like the actual like
what's up with it? Sorry, I gotta interrupt here. What's up with a fucking 8-string bass? What's up with that? Like the basses that are like a 12-string guitar, they've got like the high, you know, they got the 2 strings for each string, you know?
Yeah, it's basically if you, want to play a more rhythmic style or fill out more sound. And so it's great if you have, like, just a 3-piece band, you know, drummer, guitarist, bassist, and the bass is, like, doubling as, like, a rhythm guitar when the other guitarist is soloing. Which is why on a lot of Manowar's earlier recordings especially, like, he'll be playing 8-string bass for most of the recording. Is
I
to
didn't
like
know
fatten
that.
up the
That's
sound.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Kind of. It's dorky, but it's cool.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It's not as dorky as that 9-string bass that guy plays in that one fucking Canadian goth band. You know the band I'm talking about?
No idea.
We've talked about them before, and I can never remember what they're called. They're like, they're not really, they look goth, but they play like weird prog metal. But they all look super goth, which is funny. Their bassist has like red dreadlocks that go down to his knees, and he plays a 9-string bass. It's ridiculous. I made you listen to them one time like 10 years ago, and you're like, wow, that's really impressive music. And then I showed you what they look like, and we laughed.
That's fun.
Yeah. Anyways, continuing this same thread, another person responded. User The Titanium Nub said, there were some amazing lyric writers out there, though. I'm a huge Buckethead fan. He's actually coming to a town near me this Saturday. But to me, the greatest musician to ever exist was Mr. Lou Reed. That's just me, though. And then Zinser F, our friend, quote-unquote friend, with the interesting opinions about Led Zeppelin, he responds and says, agreed. I'm a huge Radiohead fan, though not as much as I used to be. Tom York is supremely talented and writes great lyrics. I guess like, okay, I'll read this exactly how he read it. I guess like music with the word head in it.
Yep. It's also Portishead.
Yeah, he's big
Machine Head. Yeah, big head.
Headcore.
Oh yeah, that's a head wave.
Oh,
Vapor head.
Yeah. Post head wave.
Ooh, I like that. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. We should make a playlist on on like the streaming services called Headwave, where it's just artists with head in the title.
I'm into it. There's a lot of artists with head in the title.
Yeah. I mean, we could even, we could add Korn in there. They have a member named Head.
That's true.
That counts as head
in
wave.
it. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Very
Brian
true.
Head Welch.
That's my favorite type of grape
we have
juice.
2 music industry Brians related to Head. We've got Brian Head Welch from Korn and Brian Patrick Carroll, Buckethead.
That's true. And Brian Mentia.
Brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Headwave too.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. All right. Well, let's continue on here. So much of like the discussion surrounding Buckethead's music is either praising Buckethead, it's speculating about Buckethead, or it's just boomers shitting on new music.
Cool.
Like it is one of those 3 things. Typically, in this case, we've got a user here with some takes. So this is a response. I'm not going to read the comment that they're responding to just because it's long and it's not particularly funny. But this user is responding on Reddit to a comment about how like this leading from the previous thread where they're talking about like vocals and music, and some person talks about like, hey, like there's some really cool hip hop stuff out there that does like really interesting things with vocals. They name drop Death Grips, and they're talking about that sort of stuff, which I agree with. Death Grips is very cool and does interesting things with vocals. But this user responds, user XXRay, they have Flair on the subreddit. They're a bucket bot. They say, true, BH has a vast repertoire of music. Oh my God. So sorry, the typing is so bad. I'm going to try to make this legible. They say, true, Buckethead, in his vast repertoire of music, has been involved in collaborations which included vocals. No comment on hip-hop, have never listened to any in my life, and don't plan to anytime soon.
There's no way you can avoid
I know!
hip-hop.
It's not possible!
You can't.
There's no way he's never listened to hip-hop. Like, shut up!
Like, if he's never, like, watched a commercial in the past, like, 20 years, I might. No, even then, like... The fuck? Like, you've never seen a fucking movie? Like,
you've never gone to a store?
Yeah, right? Like, hip-hop is it's ubiquitous in our culture. And, not all world cultures. Like, if this guy lives... I'm
guessing somewhere very blue-collar, and they listen to a lot of, like, I would guess classic rock radio.
Yeah, sure. But still, you can't fucking avoid hip-hop.
Yeah, right? Like, you're going to hear it at some point. Like, ridiculous. You're going to be watching TV and it's going to be on a commercial. You're going to be watching a show. You're going to be, like, out in the world. You're going to hear it. There's no way you can't.
Yeah. Like, what? There's only a few genres you can actually avoid.
You can avoid polka, I would imagine.
You can avoid polka. You can avoid, like, crust punk.
Yeah, you can. You definitely can.
I mean, you just smell it coming and turn the other way.
You could avoid black metal. Like,
I think so.
You could entirely sidestep black metal, and like that's okay.
I was gonna say you could avoid noise music, but like it's so like there's such a thin line between noise music and soundtrack sometimes.
Well, and I was also gonna say like you've walked by a generator before, like you've vacuumed your home before, Britt. Like you've heard noise music. Well,
excuse me, no, that's to be fair, my vacuum is shoegaze. So I got the Kevin Shields vacuum. So
all right. You got one of those more melodic vacuums.
I got my bloody vacuum time.
Noise music is one that's so like the definition of what constitutes music and what doesn't is so nebulous that like I think it is impossible to avoid.
I mean, yeah, like people out there calling fucking Primus music, so.
Dude, what if we made music like Primus, but we just used samples from Home Improvement as vocals?
that would rule, dude. That'd be so good.
Yeah, subscribe to our Patreon and we'll do that. Okay?
Yeah. If one person subscribes after we do this episode, we'll do that for you.
We will literally do that. As long as I just like, that's the thing where like I'm happy to do it, but I gotta get some skrill for that. I gotta get paid.
Yeah, gotta get $5 a month for 1 month.
Yeah.
What else we got?
So, YouTube user Styles Conejo versus Silicon says, "Wowza, yowza! This music cares nothing about pop conformity. It sounds like a bazillion volts going through malfunctioning robots who are doing a jam session at the abusement park." Some colorful language there. I like it.
Bazinga.
And then user German Schreiber says, "Abusement? I don't know if I want to go there."
Isn't that like a Toxic Holocaust album or something?
No. It is a abusement park is a municipal waste song.
Municipal waste. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, that's all like a fucking new thrash something.
It's definitely pizza thrash. So you were right to think a Toxic Holocaust. They are absolutely pizza thrash.
Very much so.
So it's definitely pizza thrash vibes.
Almost blocked that one.
But there's a lot about this I like. Abusement park is just nice. That's still one of my favorite puns.
Fun phrase. Fun pun.
Fun pun. Love to see it. YouTube user Newpath, returning YouTube user Newpath, 5 years ago says, "Do you know? This album flossed my teeth. Yours?" And then user Funkadelic Sun Wizard, and Wizard has 2 Z's.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Says, "Should have warned ya. It flossed my butt first. Sorry about that."
Hell yeah. So if it has 2 Z's, much like pizza, it becomes Wheatserd. Just so you know.
Wheatserd. I
He's
love
a
it.
Wheatserd. Which is not to be confused with Wheatus, the band who did Teenage Dirtbag.
Oh yeah, big Wheatus head over here.
Wheatus head. That's a band nobody needs.
Head?
No.
It's pretty good. Like, what's flossing a butt though? Like,
they make butt floss.
No.
Yeah, they do. Here,
what?
1 sec. Let me bring this up 1 sec.
No. Is this an inverse of our fucking Merkin conversation?
I'm only finding definitions like for slang of a thong, but they used to make. Oh, here we go.
All right,
no.
I'm ready.
No,
enlighten
that's
me.
just a review on.
Oh
no.
Oh no.
I swear I've seen this as like a gag gift before.
Okay. Like an RG McPhee.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, butt floss from the Prank Factory.
Show me. Describe to me the package.
No, I'm just going to show you. And then I'll describe it.
Okay.
All right. So it's
oh, that's really good.
It's from theprankfactory.com, and it's a little plastic package, and it just has a length of hemp rope in it, and it says "Redneck Butt Floss, take control of your hole."
Hell yeah. Wow, this company makes fucking garbage and then puts it in plastic packaging and then sells it to you as a joke.
That's amazing, actually.
Redneck, we're looking at the Redneck collection.
Imagine owning this company. And
some of these
money
are
on
really
shit.
terrible jokes.
Oh my god!
Wow, this is trash.
This is absolute fucking dog shit. This is incredible.
No, don't click that.
That's my favorite one. I'm gonna get you one of those, Spencer, for
hate this
your birthday.
So much. No, don't forget your brother's the one that likes the iPad Mini.
That's true. I should get him one of these.
I can get you an
That's
iPad
funny.
Mini box. You can put it in.
Oh, that'd be amazing, actually. That'd be so funny. That'd be so good. I really want to do that.
Okay.
Remind me.
Good. This is awful. Butt floss. There we go. Okay. So a YouTube user named Bucket Emotion leaves comments. I've seen this user before, but they only leave comments in Spanish. So obviously I don't speak Spanish, but I'm going to read one of their comments here because I think I can read it. And they just said, they're responding to somebody who said this. The person they're responding to said, I won't lie. I tried acting like a big man and keeping it together, but at the end of the song, I couldn't help but shed a tear. I said shred, but I meant shed.
That's sick, though. Shred of Tears. I mean, that sounds like a Buckethead album.
Wow, it really does.
Shred of Tears.
And then Bucket Emotion. And Bucket Emotion is in quotes, by the way. That's their username. Quotes, Bucket Emotion. And they say, Por eso me llamo Bucket Emotion. And then a bunch of exclamation points.
That's why my name is Bucket Emotion, is what he's saying.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great. I love that.
Well, or that's why I'm called Bucket Emotion. Oh.
That's awesome. I love Bucket Emotion.
Yeah.
It's good. It feels good.
Mm.
Lastly, we're going to talk a little bit about, this is another person comparing Buckethead to a deity, which is always fun. This one references a deity that I didn't have time to Google, but I think that this is a real god or something, some part of some mythology somewhere. They say, YouTube user Lost Highway GNR, wonder what that stands for, says, that's just incredible. I always find myself thinking of Buckethead as Sufi, and that's spelled S-U-F-I.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean. It's almost like he is standing in a rushing river and just letting all of that energy flow through him. Parentheses, I totally believe it's God-given and he is gifted.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, God.
Yep. Our God is an awesome God.
Hey, he reigns from heaven above.
With wisdom, power, and love.
Oh, God. Do you have, so that song, the cover of that song that I think about constantly.
It's so good.
It's so fucking good. Is that in one of the episodes?
No. Well, we listen to it, but you can't hear it.
Oh, dumb. Okay. All right. So never mind. We don't need to talk about it then.
Yeah. Because we listened to it on the episode with my brother, but it'll be in like the Patreon stuff. And on that stuff, I can put whatever I want because it's not really subject to copyright laws if it's under a paywall.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Anyways, that's statements from the Bucket Void, Britt.
Sick, dude. Hey, Spencer.
Yeah.
Choose your own adventure.
Okay.
You come upon a wise wizard. He said, yo, you took the wrong path. Now there's only one path in this fork.
Show me the way.
You better take it.
Show me the way, Britt.
Ha 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 bucket joke. Ha 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 bucket joke. Ha 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 bucket joke.
Ha 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 bucket joke. What did Buckethead send Dimebag Darrell to thank him for the massive influence on his music?
I don't know.
Condolences to his family.
Fuck.
Did you hear Axl Rose agreed to have Guns N' Roses play for the Special Olympics?
I didn't.
To be more accurate, he just gave Slash the time off to compete in bumper bowling.
Jesus Christ.
Why did Buckethead try out for the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
That actually happened, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, he wanted some experience with marginally talented California drug addicts, so he'd be better prepared for Guns N' Roses.
Wow.
What does Flea call his dogs?
I don't know.
Red Hot Chili Puppers.
Okay, that was pretty good.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Bucket.
Bucket who?
Seriously? This is like our 31st episode. Like, get it together, dude.
I will never.
What's the difference between a bong and an asshole?
I don't know.
Well, one you smoke out of, and the other is Mike Portnoy, formerly of Dream Theater.
Fuck. This is my favorite part, by the way, is you laughing at your own jokes. Too much to tell the joke.
It's just like, I'm imagining telling this joke, and it's like too much. All right. Slash goes to the doctor. After running some tests, the doctor says to Slash, this might be difficult to hear, but you're going to have to stop drinking. Why? Asks Slash. Well, the doctor says, because I'm trying to examine your mouth to see just how ravaged it is from oral herpes.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
What did the pirate say to Buckethead?
Oh, I don't know.
Hey, sorry for illegally downloading your music.
Yeah.
What is the plural for bumblefoot?
Oh, that's a great question.
Incels.
Whoa! Jesus! Oh, man. Wow. That was a humdinger.
What happens when you mix donkey DNA with human DNA?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not sure, but Liz Claypool is not allowed back at the petting zoo.
That's a beautiful joke.
Why did Buckethead refuse to appear on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon?
I don't know.
Well, because it fucking sucks.
Oh, yeah, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
Bucket joke.
I love that segment.
Thank you.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Britt, what do you got to recommend me?
Golly. Looking around my room like there's something to recommend.
You're like, I gotta put something together. Oh, shit.
I had something earlier and I just didn't write it down.
See, I wrote mine down earlier, which is like,
no.
great.
I know exactly what it is. I would highly, 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 highly recommend the podcast Blowback.
Okay.
It's a limited series that they did one of last year, which is like 10 episodes with like 2 or 3 bonus episodes. And then they just started season 2, and it's basically like kind of the journalism style of it is very much based on like Howard Zinn's A People's History of the United States. So it's a lot of like primary source documents and interviews and stuff like that.
Okay.
But the first season is all about the Iraq War, and the second season is all about America's relationship with Cuba.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's really fucking good. All of it's
Nice.
real goddamn good. Highly recommendo. What do you got to recommend me?
So the other night, I feel like a lot of my stories start this way, but the other night I was high, and because I was high, I just didn't want to do anything, so I was tired. So I laid down, opened up the HBO app on my phone, and I was scrolling through it, and I found a film that I had not seen in a long time, probably since it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it, and that film is The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Lovely.
And you know what? That movie fucking rules. You should watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Definitely.
the best Fast and the Furious movie. Like,
It's-
honestly.
It's got a very unique aesthetic to it. It's got Bow Wow.
Yeah. So like the what I like about it so much is like, don't get me wrong, it has its flaws. The writing is not great. Well, I mean, the story structure is great, but the like actual dialogue not great. Some pretty cheesy stuff here and there. But what I do like about it a lot is the way it's filmed is really cool because it takes place in Tokyo, but it follows like an American character who is in Tokyo, and like the way it follows him, it's like you're exploring Tokyo with him, kind of, and it's filmed really beautifully. Like it looks phenomenal. It's a very nice looking film, and just seeing like Tokyo represented in that way, and then all of like the car chase stuff is also cool, but like just seeing the city and the way it's filmed and the music, it's really really cool. It uses a lot of music from the time, but it's not a lot of like cringy stuff. Like the second Fast and the Furious movie, super cringe. I mean, it's fun, but it's like so stupid and cringe.
Yeah.
But this one is not in that way. Like there were some cringy lines, but like stylistically and aesthetically and all that sort of stuff, like it still holds up very well. Like it looks cool, and like all the stuff that happens is cool, and it's a fun flick.
3 Fast, 3 Furious, baby.
Yeah, and it's just a fun time capsule of that time period, you know. Yeah, it's a good time. I would say watch that. It's good.
Hell yeah. Hey, Spencer, where
Yeah.
can I find you on the internet?
Oh, you can find me at New Metal Karate Society on Instagram.
Cool.
What about you?
You can find me at Meme Scoop, SCUUP, also on Instagram.
Instantgram by Facebook.
Instant Graham Crackers.
Ooh.
And once again, I have a new podcast out, Bad Word of the Day with Britt and Ryan Straw. If you like me using this voice, subscribe to that.
Oh my.
I get real close to the mic.
I got one bonus recommendation.
What's that?
And this is specifically for you because I know you're going to go on a trip. You got to listen to the recent 99% Invisible episode about the real book. It is fucking awesome.
Oh, they did. Oh, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
really want to listen to that. That sounds
It's
great. Have you
fucking good.
you've-
Watch that.
you've
listen to that.
listened to the 99 PI on Who Let the Dogs Out, yeah?
Yes, amazing.
Oh, I've listened to it 3 times. It's one of my favorite pieces of journalism. It's so fucking good.
It's so good. I like that one had me rolling because it's like
Oh.
they're like, well, that's not the end of the story, and then it
Yeah.
just like keeps going and going and going and going, and you're like,
Right.
what the fuck?
It's
Like
incredible.
I had no idea how nebulous of a question that was.
It's like a feature-length film. It's like, yeah, they just keep going back, and it makes you realize there's no such thing as original music.
Oh yeah,
Doesn't
100%,
exist.
Yeah,
Doesn't
like
exist.
so
You
many
think-
people had like the same idea in different places for so long. Wild.
Yeah. You think you
Wild.
got something original? No.
You never came original.
No. Like 311 is the only band still putting out original music.
That's great.
This has been Britain.
And this has been Spencer. You've been listening to Gettin' Head, a Bucketcast.
Stay greasy, bucketheads.
Namaste.